Welcome, everybody out there in Facebook land. It is episode number 12 of Mind, Body, Bank Account. And today on the show, I have my guest, registered nurse out of the Detroit area, Tara Sarty. And we're discussing the flu. Not an incredibly popular topic, but one nonetheless. If you want to live a clean, healthy life, we got to stay out of the hospital and not be sick. So, how do we prevent this from happening in our life? How do we get over the flu if you got it? And should we really be so worried? I mean, we see a lot of media coming out these days about how horrible the flu is and what as a matter of fact, just today, that in 1 week alone, in the U.S., 4,000 plus people died in the third week of January. Now, we're going to talk to Tara about whether this is all just media hype. Is this something we should really be scared of? And is it normal? Is this what we normally have? 4,000 people in 1 week, Tara. I don't know. It sounds pretty crazy. Talk to me. Tell me about the flu. Is this a different year than normal, or is this on par for what we normally see?
I can't attest to statistics from previous years. I did do some research today regarding some annual statistics that we've had. Ministry of Health Long-Term Care of Ontario states that we usually have around 23,000 deaths throughout the year regarding influenza.
Wow.
So that's still a number. I'm not sure based on how many in 1 week. 4,000 does seem like a lot. But if we're talking within the year, 23,000 seems like quite a bit as well.
Certainly does.
The flu seems to be hitting hard this year. I guess that's just kind of what we're hearing as far as what goes on in the media. Especially there's a lot of young children that have been affected by this. We've been hearing that a lot in the media too as well. The flu is always something that we need to be precautious about. It's hard because we do have flu vaccines, but because of how it's being created, it makes it hard for us to be able to pinpoint which virus to actually make for the vaccine.
Right.
Example being that the flu virus actually can mutate. So year to year, it mutates differently. And what we do is we try to have different predictors to be able to tell us what vaccine we should make according to the following year.
Right.
Having that, it takes about 6 months to actually make the vaccine. And then by then we're administering it, hoping that we pick the right few strains that actually goes into the vaccine.
Right.
So all in all, it's quite the guessing game.
Wow. Yeah. So I mean,
yeah.
when you're producing a vaccine 6 months in advance of the planned outbreak, I suppose you could say. Yeah, sounds like quite a bit of guessing and quite a bit of science that goes into that. So you hope that you get the right strains. Now, what do you know about this year? I'm hearing that potentially I don't want to say that the medical community was off the mark because they tried their best, but nobody can really predict how this strain is going to mutate. So how close were we to getting it, and how effective is the vaccine that is out there currently?
It seems, rumor has it that we kind of missed the mark on the one strain that's really prominent right now. I think the flu vaccine vaccinates against 4 different strains of the flu. And it seems that we've missed one that's really, really prominent. Like I said, it's hard to predict which one is going to hit, which one is going to carry forward. So that's kind of where that's at right now. I mean, what it comes down to it is we have to be more educated in how we prevent spreading the flu.
Right.
And we have when we don't have it. That's basically what it comes down to, meticulous hand washing. The flu is actually spread from respiratory droplets. So if you're within 3 feet of somebody and they're talking to you, you can't see it, you might not feel it, but their actual breath and their droplets that carry viruses and bacteria are actually being in your space now, and you're subjected to what they have. So you know what time you're going to get it, but you could be a carrier, you could bring it home to your
Right.
Your immune system is strong enough not to be subjected to it, but somebody else's might not.
Right.
So there's a whole bunch of things going on here. So we need to do meticulous hand washing, not coughing in our hands, coughing away from people, coughing in our shoulders, like our elbow area, using Kleenex or a handkerchief, but washing our hands afterwards too, right? When we're touching things, when we're Lysoling, if you are sick, cleaning up the house afterwards, disinfecting things, not being around people, especially those who are immunocompromised, such as children, or a very big population of that, and the elderly. Now, when we talked about these deaths previous to this, it was 23,000 deaths that the Ministry of Health and Long-Term Care of Ontario recorded. Those deaths, a lot of them were 65 years or older.
Right.
So it's really that elderly target. The younger kids, their immune system is not up to par as we are because they were just born. So they're not introduced to all these viruses and all these yucky things yet. The middle-aged group, you and I, we can usually bounce back from things like that. If we're healthy, we don't have any comorbidities such as like diabetes, heart failure, asthma, COPD, those types of things, we usually can bounce back pretty quickly. But it's the elderly that kind of takes that really hard hit.
Yep.
They have a lot of things going on. They usually do have comorbidities, as well as the older we get, the less drive we have to eat or drink, which our main concern is now dehydration.
Right. So you got to keep the fluids in and stay. Okay, so that kind of parlays into my next question. Prior to the flu season, what are some of the things that we can do to be proactive? I mean, we know that I'll get you to speak on, should we be getting the shot? Is that a smart thing? I'm hearing that this year, people who got the shot, I don't know, are they more sick than others? I mean, so hit me with that one. But also, what are some of the things that we can do leading up to this? Can we eat certain things? Can we, how should we take care of our body prior to the flu season, just so that we can try to ward it off?
Well, let's talk about the vaccine first. The vaccine is never, we can talk about that for hours, but just speaking specifically on the vaccine and the fact that it's just a predicted, setting as to which virus strain it's going to actually target, it wouldn't hurt you to get it, if that's the case. So to take the flu vaccine is not going to make you any sicker. To have any vaccine is never a guarantee that you're never going to get the sickness. It just prepares your body to recognize the sickness, the virus, the bacteria before it actually takes hold of your whole body, so your body can immediately start to fight it. Your body has an immune response, in which case when you're introduced to a bacteria or a virus, your body has to recognize it. If it's never seen that bacteria or virus before, it has to compute all that information.
Right.
What is this? It's a foreign. How do I do it? Well, all that other stuff. Just as much as when we go do something new on the computer has to take a minute to figure out, you have to download, install, appropriate equipment.
Sure.
Or, I'm losing the word that I'm looking for, but for computers. But so our body is able to recognize it faster if we do have that vaccine. So the flu virus turns out to be those 4 strands. It doesn't hurt to have it, if that were the case. You get more sick, and you're not going to be any less sick, if that were the case. As far as what to do to prevent the flu from hitting your house previous to the flu season, just be healthy. Yeah. Healthy. Drink water. Have really good cardiovascular, walking. It's just taking care of yourself. And what happens in the wintertime is the fact that we lack vitamin C and vitamin D. Vitamin D especially, the sunshine is not out. So we're more susceptible to becoming sick because our body needs that sunshine to turn into vitamin D. So we could take a multivitamin. We can use our hand washing techniques and hand sanitizer. It doesn't have to be antimicrobial.
Microbial?
So yes. No, regular
Just
soap.
wash them.
Just regular soap.
That has to be above 70.
Well, yeah, and hand sanitizer. Just being more cautious where you're putting your hands, really, and how you're putting your hands to your mouth. Wash your hands before you eat. Wash your hands after you blow your nose. Things like that. If your hands are dirty or if they come in contact with any kind of respiratory, nose, hands, vomit, unfortunately diarrhea, things like that, we need to wash our hands and we need to really be meticulous.
I certainly hope
that, so. Especially where you. That's how the diseases can spread quite quickly. So just hand washing, but maybe a good multivitamin.
Yep.
Drink plenty of water. If you feel you're coming sick, recognize those signs and symptoms of what the sickness is. There's, you can have a cold without having to seek medical attention.
Sure.
You can have the flu without seeking medical attention. So you have to know when and when not to.
Okay, so
when things change.
So now I'm sick. What do I do now? Is there?
Well, you need to pay. Sure, you need to pay attention to why you're sick. Do you have a cold? Do you have postnasal drip? Are you blowing your nose? I'm just going to get a little graphic here, but what color is that stuff coming out of your nose?
Boogers.
Uh-oh.
So if you have yellow, that's usually a sign of infection. Do you have a fever coming along with it? It could be low grade, it could be high grade. You have to kind of know your body. Are you lethargic? Do you have muscle pain? Do you have headaches that won't go away? Do you have nausea and vomiting? Do you have diarrhea? Those are the extremes of where a cold or a flu can kind of come in and out. So when you need to go seek advice is when you notice that the drainage is a different color, is not clear anymore. Yep. Even if you have it in your throat, if you're becoming difficulty breathing, that's huge. That's where a lot of these viruses can really attack, and they can turn into a bacterial infection, in which case you need antibiotics. Right. Otherwise, you can't get antibiotics for. We cannot do antibiotics for a virus. There's no medication to do that. So you need to make sure it doesn't get to that point. Shortness of breath, like I said. If you notice that you can't hold down anything, if you cannot drink anything, like if you're becoming dehydrated, if you're not peeing, especially young children, infants, if they do not have wet diapers, if they are not peeing, that is an issue. We need to seek medical attention. Right. Stock ourselves up with some Gatorade, some Powerade, some Pedialyte. It comes in juices, it comes in popsicles now. Whatever it takes to get it in your child or your adult, yep. You need to get that in them. So those are the types of things we're looking for. And not all the time do you need to go to the ER. You can, by all means, see your family doctor, go to a walk-in clinic. Some bigger urban areas have ER clinics. So it's not something that you need to seek attention to from the main hospital in your nearby area, because you're just going to be sitting there.
Sure.
Waiting maybe hours while other people are more important coming through, because the flu is not as important as somebody with, chest pain. So you need to kind of know when and when not to seek medical advice, and then where to go to as well.
Right. All right. How about, I know you come from the school of traditional medicine, but when it comes to, there's a whole lot of holistic stuff out there. There's a whole lot of, people talking about what should we be eating? Is there any, tell me what echinacea, is this something that is good for the body? Is there anything else out there that we could be putting in our systems outside of the regular foods that we have that can help us?
There's a lot of great herbs that you can use. Absolutely. Those types of things would be something that you would use in preventative. You could absolutely do that. You just need to know when it gets to the point of it being too bad that you need to seek that medical advice, because now those herbs are not working. We need something stronger. Right. So echinacea, for sure, you can go to any, like, like a GNC store will have that too as well. Those herbs, sure. That would be like your pre-vitamin, in a sense, your daily vitamin if you wanted to. You could take vitamin D, echinacea, and all that other stuff too as well. By all means, even if you just have a sore throat, that's fine. You can do a little, I don't know what else they offer for that. I'm not gonna lie, I don't go to those GNC stores too often. But by all means, you can do that. If you have a cold or anything else, you can try that. But my problem is that I wouldn't want somebody to stick to saying like, this is going to work, it's going to work. And after so many days, it's not working.
Right.
You know what I mean? They have to know, as holistic as we want to be and as natural as we want to be, there's times and places where we do need to seek advice above and beyond that, because if not, we're putting our lives or our children's lives in danger.
Sure. So it sounds like be healthy to start with, and then the chances of, you know, these viruses attacking us are a whole lot less. So we got to build our defenses up prior to the flu season. Hopefully it doesn't get us. And then after that, it's about hydration and monitoring your symptoms. Does that sound fair?
Yeah, pretty much so. And we have the whole spring and summer to get ourselves up to par. You know, we don't have to be perfect health. I mean, it can hit anybody. But the idea is to get ourselves going to the point where we're ahead of it and we can stay ahead of it. And we have that education to know, you know, what to do if it does hit our house and how to handle it so that it doesn't get out of control.
Perfect. Well, I know that it's been in the media lots lately. People are buzzing about the flu. I understand that. Now, is it too late to get the shot now? I understand, you know, February is kind of the peak month, but we still have a bit of time left in the season. So still a good idea to get it if and can we still get it?
Absolutely. You can still get it. You can go to any healthcare provider and still be able to get the flu vaccine.
Great.
Absolutely. And Ontario is free for OHIP usually, and it's usually free if you have some sort of documentation, even if you might be a landed immigrant or permanent resident. You can go see your healthcare provider. They'll tell you what you need in order to get it, if that's the case. But I believe as long as you have OHIP, it is pretty much free.
Perfect.
For those from the United States, it's a different story. I'm not 100% sure, but I think even at this point, a lot of places are offering them free because it is hitting pretty hard.
Good. Yeah. All right. Wow. So let's stay healthy, everybody, and let's not get too scared. I think the media tries to blow things real out of proportion, like you said before when we talked. They're about selling stories and all that good stuff. So
I think they just word it in a way to scare us. You know, regardless of why these people have passed because of complications of the flu, it is a serious note to take. But as long as we're educated and knowing what to look for, then we should be safe, and we should be able to overcome it. And I think that lack of education for those unfortunate, especially those parents with those children, it could have been saved had they known differently, or had they have known what to look for, or how this is very important tip. If you feel something is wrong, you stand up and you fight for your health.
Yes.
It doesn't matter what it says. Doctor is human just as much as you and I. If you feel something is wrong, if you have that mother intuition, if you have that father intuition, that friend intuition, whatever it is, you continue to fight and say something is wrong. That is it. Just because we have the flu,
I'm so glad you said
doesn't mean
that.
we don't have a. Yeah, absolutely. You must always fight for your health.
I'm so glad you said that.
It is the most important.
I have
a lot of people.
A good friend of our fam.
They put their trust in, and they're human just as you and I, and sometimes we get overwhelmed. And so if somebody comes in with the flu, we're like, you just have the flu. But if you know that something is deadly wrong and totally different than normal, just the flu, then you need to push to have them do more than just that.
I'm glad you said that. A lot of people want to, or just expect that, you know, when the doctor says something, that's it, and there is no questioning beyond that. And I'm glad you're telling people that you know your body, you understand what feels right and what doesn't, and speak up when you know that something is wrong, or when that mama bear intuition is clicking and you're saying something's not right here. So that's great. Yeah, I mean, we can share many stories of people who were sent home from the hospital only to have further complications, and even when they knew in their sixth sense was saying go back and they didn't, just go back. Don't feel like you're being a burden on the health system, because
absolutely,
you know, things happen,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. Yep, absolutely. It's not that our job is to make sure that you're healthy, and sometimes we may not do the 100% that we could have done, you know. So we're human too. We're all human, and sometimes it's a wearing job on a lot of us. So us nurses are there to fight for you between the doctors, and a lot of times the doctors, they come to us for advice.
Sure.
Have to say that, but it's not even just that. It's the fact that you know your body, and sometimes you just have to, you have to push. You just have to push. So if you feel that there's more than just the flu, you need to seek all avenues, whether it's going to a different doctor or a different clinic or somewhere else. You need to do your own research and figure it out.
Well, this morning my kids got up and I knew one was sick.
Mm-hmm.
My wife sent me pictures of my other son bent over a toilet bowl, puking in the toilet bowl. Turns out he was faking. So he's all up to speed on the whole flu, the flu deal these days, and he thought he'd pull one over on the parents, but keen eye of mama's keen eye caught him and sent him straight to school. So
himself for sure. Back to bite him.
That's right. So don't cry wolf. When you are sick, you got to make sure that the people who can take care of you are going to believe you.
That's true too. Just as important. We have adults do the same thing. So very much a good point.
Yes. Well, listen, Tara, I appreciate you coming on the show tonight. Mind body bank account. We definitely hit on the body part because we need to be healthy if you want to live the best life that you can. So I appreciate you having you taking time out of your schedule and taking the time away from saving all the people. But yeah, so thank you so much. I'm going to let you get back to your evening. And
thanks so much for having me.
Keep saving the world. Now, who do we have in the background? I heard some expert advice having in the background there.
That's my sister. Laura Christensen.
Hey, sis.
She's a newer nurse. I'm a nurse too.
Wow. All right, so we got a powerhouse
power team going on here
in the house. Perfect.
Backup.
Awesome. All right, ladies. Well, keep doing the wonderful things that you do. Keep helping people, saving lives, and changing the world. I say it many, many times that our frontline workers, nurses included, you guys aren't celebrated enough. So thank you for all that you do. Thanks for sharing your information with us, Tara. And I look forward to chatting with you more in the future.
Absolutely. I'd love to.
Take care. Thanks again for being on episode 12, Mind Body Bank Account. You have yourself a wonderful night. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Wow. Okay. There we go, guys. Stay healthy. If you got the flu, go get yourself checked out. If you have young kids, monitor them. Make sure they're okay. Stay up on the fluids. I was just going to say, revisit this video. Listen to what Tara's telling you. Go get the flu shot if you need. Right? It's not a bad thing. So the whole immunization topic can raise some controversy. So we're okay with that. So if you have different views on the flu vaccine, feel free to share them in the comments. I'm okay about opening up some conversation, whether it is controversial or not. So bring it on. And another thing we got to bring on is staying tuned to Mind Body Bank Account. Because I'll tell you, we got an incredible couple of weeks coming up with some incredible guests, especially this Thursday. You got to tune in. When you see and hear from my special guest, he is owner and head coach at House of Champions MMA in Stony Creek, Ontario. He is a UFC cut man in the UFC, and TV commentator with K1 Global. K1 Kickboxing. Incredible. His name is Crew Alin Halmagin. And you got to see him Thursday, 7 o'clock, Mind Body Bank Account. Cruellin, he'll be on the show sharing some incredible information about why he chose martial arts as his way of life and why he believes martial arts can help anyone out there lead a better one. All right, guys? Take care. Have yourself a great night. Remember, keep your mind open, your body strong, and your bank account growing.